So good evening, everyone. Welcome to this public hearing regarding the administrative enforcement action for the Detroit Renewable Power, which we commonly refer to as the Detroit Incinerator. I'm Tracy Cascametti. I'm with the DEQ Waste Management and Radiological Protection Division, and I'm going to be your hearings officer tonight.
My younger daughter has severe asthma. As several other neighborhood children do that I know personally, which I understand cannot be proven to link to the incinerator, but it's something that we live with. The intense smell of garbage, especially on summer Sundays, however, can be easily linked, even though Sundays tend to be the days when enforcement is supposed to have a day off. We would like to enjoy our days off in our garden, but sometimes the smell is so bad that going outside becomes a punishment. Our neighborhood is attracting young people who are interested in gardening and in recovering old houses. Right on the other side of the incinerator is Midtown, the up-and-coming neighborhood attracting more future taxpayers. And most importantly, all around the incinerator are people who have lived here for many, many years and deserve a clean neighborhood. However, instead of a clean neighborhood, we get trash from Oakland County and Canada burning in our backyards. Not only is the incinerator a dirty business with unpenalized environmental violations, while falsely marketed as environmentally friendly, it also sets the tone for the neighborhood, making it seem like common sense that U.S. ecology should expand their dangerous and illegal chemical waste-related activities. This is not the neighborhood we want, and this is our neighborhood. We who live here appreciate you, and we fully expect you to exercise empathy, common sense, and all the power you have in your hands to help us, the residents, to create a neighborhood where even you or the executives of Detroit Renewable Power will find suitable to live. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm 30 years taught in Detroit public schools and been a resident of the city of Detroit, and yeah, I'm for shutting this down. It's just ridiculous.
Good evening. My name is Daniel Hurwitz Goodman, and I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Detroit. I am deeply concerned about the hundreds of air emissions, not 6, not 18, but hundreds and hundreds of air emissions violated by the committee, violations committed by the incinerator since January of 2015. I demand that the MDEQ do its job and propose a consent order that appropriately fines the incinerator for the full amount for every single one of its 379 violations. I've watched for decades as private, for-profit institutions have used the communities in this city as sacrifices for their unfettered greed. From the Marathon Oil Refinery to U.S. Ecology to this very incinerator, the residents have to deal with an unacceptable amount of poison in the soil, air, and water. And everyone in this room knows that this severe corporate negligence would not be accepted by our civic leaders, by you, our representatives of the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality, were these hazmat projects located in whiter, more affluent communities. As so many people have already mentioned, 60% of this trash comes from Oakland County, while a measly 19% comes from Wayne County. And that's not just the city of Detroit, that's the whole of Wayne County. So as so many people have brought up, this is environmental racism. It is clear, it is blatant, and it is unacceptable. And as so many people have brought up, the rate for asthma hospitalization is 3 times more in the city of Detroit than the average, and the incinerator has been found to cause and to activate asthma. So this is a public health emergency. The MDEQ must fine the incinerator appropriately so as to protect the health of the residents of the city, especially the community surrounding the incinerator. I know I cannot appeal to the humanity of the department you represent, because that department is not a living human. However, I can try and speak to each and every one of you as living human beings who, like every other human being, needs clean air to breathe. This is not a question of politics. This is not a question of economics, but a question of humanity. Every day that your department does not appropriately fine the incinerator for its myriad and harsh violations, you encourage that institution, which can only see profit, to continue to violate the humanity of this community, the peoples whose taxes pay you to keep them safe from these exact circumstances. When you fail to fine the incinerator for their hundreds and hundreds of violations, you encourage them to continue this negligent, harmful behavior, putting the lives and safety of these communities, these families, these people at risk. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Daniel. Dennis?
Yes, good evening. I'm Dennis Archambault. I represent Authority Health, which is a public organization that serves the healthcare safety net of Detroit and Wayne County. I have a prepared statement. We've heard plenty about the concerns, the passionate concerns about health and well-being that comes from the exposure to the air quality. One of the points that we want to emphasize here is the social justice theme. We heard about environmental racism. We heard about the numbers. We've heard about the personal concerns. And from a public health standpoint, we appeal to you to use the maximum penalty you can to force the company to do what it should be doing, not just to answer to these 379 violations, but also that you get them to think about the future and how to prevent this from happening again. So on behalf of the public health community, we certainly support the stringent enforcement of the law.
Thank you, Dennis. Tanya Sharon?
Hi, my name is Tanya Sharon, and I am a retired public school teacher from Detroit public school teacher. And full disclosure, I have been actively opposing this incinerator since before it was built. And I have been at many hearings.
Hello everyone, my name is Natalie Goto. I recently learned that of the incinerator's 379 air pollution violations in 2 years, obviously more than one violation every other day, the incinerator's operators were only fined for an astounding 6 violations. All other violations falling under a startup, shutdown, malfunction exception, this may appear standard to Michigan's environmental quality enforcers. But to the contrary, if this is a standard, then the MDEQ has failed to protect the citizens it's beholden to. Under any logic, such lax enforcement is unacceptable. Under an imperative to protect the health of Michigan's rich human and natural resources, this consent order has failed because whether these violations fall under an exception or not, the people of Detroit are still poisoned by every violation. Under an imperative of efficiency and efficacy, this order has failed because the nominal fines are not nearly enough to create a disincentive for the operators. Increasingly, cities and their residents are coerced into the position of playing the role of rational actor in a free market competition for resources. States consider themselves to be serving their constituency by making their policies attractive to businesses. However, these businesses are held to a different standard. Why should the incinerator's operators be given entitlements and handouts, so-called subsidies for generating what we know is not renewable energy? Frankly, by protecting the incinerator rather than the people, NDEQ is helping to prolong a dying industry that short-sightedly squanders our natural resources. And if left to fend itself in a free market would not be economically feasible. In short, the incinerator's operators must be fined for the full amount for every violation.
Hello, I just want to reiterate that the blustery winds of today were a wonderful reminder that our lives, our industry, and our waste do not exist in a vacuum. My name is Katie Hearn, and I am here representing myself, my neighbors, and their children. I want the MDEQ to penalize the incinerator operators the full amount when they violate our air quality rules. It's a penalty. It should hurt. As a lifelong asthma sufferer, it pains me to know that the rate of asthma hospitalizations among Detroit residents is 3 times the Michigan average.
As we all know, the Detroit Trash Incinerator emitted particulate matter at levels 70% above the air emissions standard for 64 days and a total of 1,543.5 hours. The penalty for this violation was increased by only $3,000 above the penalties for violations that occurred for 1 hour. The penalty miserably fails to account for the seriousness of the prolonged particulate matter violation. This makes the operation of the incinerator an environmental, racial, and justice issue. The fact that residents must suffer while the operators of the incinerator merely receive a slap on the wrist is unforgivable, and most certainly it's unforgettable. In order to maintain its integrity, the MDEQ must set a new tone and increase the fines for these violations. I urge you to take a stand or leave your seats. Thank you.
Work to make the planet healthy and whole again. We're also part of the Zero Waste Detroit Coalition. You said not to repeat, and I understand that, Tracy, since people want to get out of here, but I'm a teacher. So without repeating, so
Fair enough, Gloria.
teaching, I think repetition deepens our understanding and expands it and helps us to see things in a deeper way. I don't experience this behavior on the incinerator as a conscious behavior, as a mature behavior, as the kind of behavior our planet needs in order for us to become a more whole environment and society, and for the sake of the children. And I'm going to be 74, I'm proud of it. I want us to pay attention to this now. Thank you.
Hoping to have children, and what this and the decisions that you're going to make tonight after listening to all of us, how that's going to impact them. And so I am pleading with you, for myself, for all of the people in this room and the people who couldn't be here, to take every level of action that you're able to, which is to at the very, very least, enforce the fines for every violation.
And it's a shame that we have to sit here and beg for the state to protect us. It's a shame just even coming here and saying, over 600,000 people are affected, by this environment. And we have to come to those who are entrusted to protect us, to ask them to do their job.